Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Nifty Experience. I'm Will Rains.
I'm Jeremy Jones.
And thanks so much for tuning in and watching this super special episode. We have a really exciting kind of Canva versus graphic designer battle today that Jeremy's going to walk us through. But before we get into that, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and also hit the bell below so you can be notified whenever we post another one of these videos.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. And speaking of ding, ding, let's get right into round one of this debate. So, graphic designer versus Canva. Some businesses obviously can't afford, the luxury of having somebody as an in-house graphic designer. So maybe first off, explain a little bit what Canva is for someone who has never heard of that before.
So Canva is pretty much just a free design program. I mean, to put it as easy as you can, you just go on to Canva, canva.com, and just make your own whatever you want to make. Mm-hmm. You can pretty much just do pretty much anything digital. Yeah. Digital as in like social media posts or PowerPoints or kind of anything.
And how simple would you say that the platform is?
I mean, Canva is what I used when I very first didn't even know I wanted to be a graphic designer. And I was able to use it pretty simple. I mean, I would say it's very user-friendly.
Okay. And I know a lot of people think that like Photoshop is what they need to learn in order to be able to make, good graphics or be able to have any type of like photography skills. Do you think that you can utilize Canva almost to an extent to where it's competitive with Photoshop?
In some ways, yes, some ways, no. I mean, Photoshop, if you want to get the best out of whatever you're working on, Photoshop's going to be the way to go. But if you want to get the job done and do a good job, Canva has everything you need. I mean, it's, with Photoshop, you can do a lot of the manipulation and a lot of the color changes, but with Canva, it's more of just you place something where you want, type out what you want, do boom, boom, and then you're done. I mean, it's just easy.
Yeah. And so you said that before you even started as a graphic designer, you were using Canva, right?
Yep.
So do you still use Canva a little bit, or?
I really don't as much anymore. I mean, there are instances where I catch myself saying I should have just done this in Canva because now my process is all done in Photoshop and everything else. But I mean, there are times where, making it simple as like an Instagram story, I should just do that in Canva. I mean, there are times where I catch myself all the time. I'm like, what am I doing? But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, nice. So let's move into round two a little bit and talk about, let's talk a little bit more about not only your experience as a graphic designer, but also kind of the benefits of an organization or a small business utilizing someone who has, the experience that you have.
Yeah. So my experience as a graphic designer, I initially graduated with a marketing degree. I worked at an insurance agency right after I graduated, and I hated it. And the only thing that I liked about the job was I was making little intros for new employees and sending out graphics to the team saying, hey, this is the new person, and I made it all in Canva. And so before then, I was making graphics, didn't even know that was going to be my career path. While I was at the job, after I decided that I hated it, I ended up quitting to work at a bakery and go back to school for design, because as I was in the thought process of what do I want to do with my life, the only thing that stuck out to me was, the only thing that I really enjoy doing at this job was making these little graphics. Let's see what this industry has to offer. And it's been about 6 years now, and I haven't looked back. So
that's so cool how you realize immediately, like, oh, this is like a super cool passion of mine, and it allowed you to go back to school and then learn more. That's super cool.
Yeah,
that's great. So what would you say now, as you have these years of experience now as a graphic designer? What are some of, and I think we touched on this a little bit in one of our last videos on some of the stuff you've already done as a graphic designer, but what are some of the big things that you look for in an organization whenever you're trying to come up with maybe some brand identity or maybe like a new logo for somebody?
So using the experience that I've had and looking back the difference from then and now, there's a lot that you really don't think about as just a normal person. I mean, now I can't look at a logo without looking at the spacing in between the letters. I can't look at a website without looking at the page and how the paragraphs are organized. I mean, there's typography, there's color theory, there's so much into it that having that experience and having that knowledge can take you to the next level when it comes to a professional environment. But at the same time, knowing all of that you don't necessarily need it in every single environment. You know, as I was doing those little Canva projects at my insurance agency, that was perfect for what we needed because we didn't have any external marketing that was going to clients. This was all internal. This was all for fun. And so there's that difference there. Now I have the confidence to go into a several $1,000 project and say, oh, I can make this, I can design this, I can make your brand look like this. With Canva, you're not able to do that. But again, it's all just about going just the pros and cons of each one. And I'm thankful for the experience that I have because I'm able to, you know, make a career out of it.
Yeah.
But there are definitely things Canva can be excellent at.
Gotcha. So what would you say is like turning point for someone who's maybe trying to figure out, do they want to go with Canva or do they want to go with a designer? Like, what do you think are some of the parameters or specifications that maybe a company should ask themselves before they make the choice on which route to go?
I would think mostly time. What is your time frame for what you're doing? Also, next would be is what are you doing? Are you creating something to print? Are you creating something to sell? Or are you just creating something to put on your website? There's several different aspects, but I would say a designer would definitely need to be utilized more if you're going to print something. You know, if you're going to print, if you're going to spend several $1,000s on a brochure, you're going to need to know, you're going to need to have someone who knows those little spacing in between the letters and everything like that, because you're giving these out to the public. It needs to be top notch.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, going back to maybe an Instagram post or an email marketing or really just mostly digital, you can get away with Canva.
Gotcha. Okay, sweet. So I guess we're gonna hit that bell again because now we're in round 3. So let's talk real quick. We've dove in.
We're gonna go with
We have divin into both the realms of Canva and, you know, being a graphic designer. So let's try to sum this all up. What would you say is the biggest pro and con for both Canva and then also for hiring someone who can help you with brand strategy or graphic design?
So we'll start off with Canva. So pros for Canva, it's very easy to use. Really anybody can use it. If you don't have a dedicated person, maybe a secretary can use it, or somebody on your marketing team, if you have a marketing team, can use it. It's very easy to learn, and it's very easy to just create something off of it. A downfall of Canva would be it's not really the most professional quality kind of thing. For a designer, you know, you get the pros of the experience, the knowledge, and really everything that comes with having that professional on your team. A downside of having a designer would be is you're paying a designer, and a lot of times the projects with the designer, it takes time. So if you're looking for something to produce quick and you need something right off the bat, Canva would probably be your best bet. But I'm the kind of person that is a full believer in you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And that shows in design, and you definitely get what you pay for.
Yeah.
I can't go down the road without seeing like an irrigation truck and looking at it and just thinking, I just know that they didn't put much time into it, or they didn't put much money into it. I mean, you get what you pay for. And so if you don't have the best budget, maybe a designer isn't really the best option for you. But
so if I'm like a brand new Twitch streamer and I'm just starting and I need a logo, probably go with Canva?
I would say probably go with Canva,
Okay.
probably. But if you're a business that you got to think about the long play, and you got to think about, you know, having your brand, that's displaying you, that's displaying your culture, your company. And so when it comes to bigger things like those, I would say hire a designer, but you know, it's all about the pros and cons.
I mean, that's a great way of putting it, though, is just being able to invest in yourself almost. I mean, it's a very important thing to project who you want to be and also kind of what you want for the future and what you want, you know, what do you want that's best for your company.
Yeah, designing and branding, it's not necessarily about having something that looks cool, because anybody can make something that looks cool, or anybody can replicate something that's given to them. But to have that knowledge and expertise really pays off, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that kind of covers this debate pretty easily. It just kind of depends on your situation, but like Jeremy said, you get what you pay for, and it's always good to invest in you and your business. So for this episode of the Nifty Experience, this is Will and Jeremy signing off, and thank you so much for watching.